This came from Da Vinci Nails and Spa, someplace in Island, Texas. Me and my baby here. Boop, there she is. We got our manicures done. Got to keep them clean. But nonetheless, I wanted to talk to you guys about shell investors. Me and a buddy today, we were talking about shell investors. I was pretty much breaking down to him what occurred with GameStop, AMC, Nokia, BlackBerry, and particularly Ford. But the conversation grew, it metamorphosized into what is a shell investor. Okay, now this is a term, I don't know if I read it somewhere or if I came up with it, but essentially a shell investor is someone who is a conduit, who is a representative of somebody who doesn't want to become public when they invest. A lot of insider traders actually use shell investors to make their money. So what's an example? If you have someone like Moderna, Pfizer, and you have someone who is part of the business structure or the executives or somebody essentially who works for Moderna or Pfizer. This is for example. And when they realized that they were going to come out with a vaccine for COVID-19, they got in touch with their shell investor to say, hey, listen, in about 2 or 3 days, we're coming out with information stating we're going to do trial phases. We're going to start working on a vaccine for COVID-19. So what I want you to do, here's $10,000, here's $20,000, and I want you to go ahead and invest in Moderna for me. And with those profits and proceedings, because anytime great news comes out with any particular stock, that stock rises. And that's why, you know, when it comes to FINRA, the SEC, the FTC, they do not allow inside trading. So what inside traders do, they use shell investors. They may use someone like a cousin of a brother or someone who is not directly connected to them. They're connected, but not directly, not any people from their immediate family of any of the sort. So take, for instance, if I, you know, like myself, I'm inside of a family, you know, I'm married to my lady. I use her brother's daughter, or I use her brother's cousin or something on those lines. And they will use shell investors and they say, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you 10 grand, invest this 10 grand inside of this company. And then when it hits a certain point, that the investor, the inside trader, will call the shell investor and say, hey, sell, 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 because at a certain point, stocks begin to peak based on the analytics, usually the RSI, the movement weight averages, and as well as other indicators that tell them when to sell. Once they sell, what that inside trader would do is break off the shell investor with a certain percentage amount. Okay, believe it or not, this happens every day in every form of different types of investments, where someone is part of an organization or company that's public, that's trading on the stock market, whether it be the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, or the S&P 500. They have somebody that is not directly involved, directly connected to them, and it will give them thousands, hundred thousands of dollars, sometimes even millions of dollars to invest for them in order for them to receive a profit. This is very pertinent. Unfortunately, this is a unlawful common practice when it comes to investing. Okay, this is unlawful common practice when it comes to investing. See, Wyatt Hunter says this whole system is corrupt. I agree with you. Oh, definitely, most definitely. See, that is why the whole system did a market correction, did a market pullback when it came to GameStop, AMC, when those Wall Street bet guys said, you know what, we're going to give Wall Street the middle finger. We're going to give Wall Street the middle finger. And what we're going to do, we're going to arbitrarily pick any stock in the stock market, and we're going to buy. We're going to buy hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, invest inside this company. We're going to pump this stock all the way up. And just like any penny stock, there's not a reputable company, we're going to pump it up, and then we're going to dump it. We're going to dump it. We're going to dump it. And a lot of those guys became instant millionaires, or if not even richer than they already was before, because again, they was in cahoots. And the only time that you can essentially do that particular strategy, if you have, you know, I can't really give you a number of people, but I can give you a dollar amount. When you're going into a stock and you're spending $3, $4, $5 million inside of that stock, because we need to understand each stock has a certain value. Each stock has a certain quantity. And as the quantity goes down, because so many people are buying, the price value of that stock increases, and then that stock becomes more valuable. So when this occurred during GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia, and Ford, Wall Street was like, well, hold up. Why is this stock popping the way it is? Why is this stock soaring the way it is? Because we're looking at, there are no contracts, there's no mergers, there's no acquisitions. We don't understand why the stock is costing so much. That's because a group of investors got together in cahoots, okay, a team of people, an entourage, a crew, a gang, some affiliates got together and said, we're going to go in this, we're going to buy, which increased the stock price, and they sold. But this is what shell investors do. Somewhat different than what they, those guys did with GameStop, but what shell investors do, they're the middleman. So take, for instance, you know me by the way of your sister, your aunt, your brother, your cousin, but people cannot make connections to us. That's what's very important. They can't really make connections to us. So you give me 50 grand and you say, hey, I want you to invest in GameStop. I want you to invest in Moderna. Now, he may work for Moderna. He may be on the executive board of Moderna, and he knows in 3 days, they're going to announce that they are finishing the final stages of coming up with a COVID-19 vaccine. So that stock is going to absolutely pop. So with that information, I invest your 50,000, me being the shell investor, because he's the inside trader. I'm the shell investor. I'm going to invest that $50,000, and then he may make 3 times the amount and say, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you 10, 20%. I have no skin in the game as a shell investor. I didn't deposit no money. I didn't invest no money. I'm using his money. So all the risk, all the volatility lands with the inside trader because he has the insider knowledge and the insider information. So again, I'm making profit, but risk is FINRA. Thorough investigation to actually trace back the steps, going to jail off a white collar crime. But a lot of times these guys are so skillful, so masterful, so intelligent. They make sure that the person they get are essentially verified and has some sort of validity that they can come up with that amount of money to make that investment. Believe me, they cover their tracks. This is not just dirt under the rug. They put the dirt on the rug and then they vacuum under the rug and the carpet. Okay, so this is nothing new. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please give. I do appreciate your support. We got Jermaine Anderson in the room. Jermaine says they said it was 3 million people they told to buy GameStop. Exactly. Thank you, Jermaine. I appreciate that. We got Mr. Hunter. He says, I've been reading this book and I'm learning a lot. Do you know there's 2 constitutions and 3 different United States of America that we are living under without knowing better as a corporation? Hunter, if you ever been a part of my channel, I have 2 videos that state that America is a corporation and not a country. And I am aware of the 2 constitutions. Thank you for listening to me, ladies and gentlemen. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. And if you got a chance to be a shell investor, just make sure the insider trader don't tell you no information, and essentially you're just doing him a favor. Peace, because you can make the money.